The rugby world is holding its breath for one of its most dynamic and beloved stars. Wallace Sititi, the explosive All Blacks midfield weapon whose speed, power, and relentless attacking style have made him one of the most feared players in international rugby, has been hospitalized after a severe head knock during a recent match. The news came as a shock to fans around the world, many of whom had watched him charge through defenses, score breathtaking tries, and dominate the game with the kind of energy that only a true champion can bring. There was no dramatic final announcement, no long press conference explaining the details, and no immediate timeline for his return. Just the quiet, unsettling realization that the man who has become the heartbeat of the All Blacks attack is now fighting for his health in a hospital bed. Wallace Sititi was not born into rugby royalty. He grew up in Auckland, New Zealand, in a family that loved the sport, that played the sport, and that believed in the kind of hard work that comes from running through the mud, tackling hard, and never giving up. He didn't start out as an All Black. He didn't become an overnight sensation. He started as a young player with a passion for the game, a body built for power, and a mind that could read the defense before it even moved. He was not the kind of player who needed to be the loudest or the most aggressive to win. He was the kind of player who could win by being smarter, by being more precise, and by being more calculated than everyone else. That was why he became one of the most exciting players in the world, and that was why the All Blacks called him up to represent his country. His breakthrough to international fame came in 2023, when he was first selected for the All Black squad. He quickly established himself as one of the most talented and consistent players in the team, scoring tries, making breakthroughs, and earning respect from fans and opponents alike. He was known for his explosive running style, his ability to break tackles, and his knack for finding the gap in the defense that no one else could see. He was not the kind of player who needed a shout to be heard. He didn't need to make grand gestures to be remembered. He just needed to be present, to be real, and to be honest in the way that only a true athlete can be. That was why he became a star, and that was why fans fell in love with him. The head knock that sent him to the hospital came during a high-intensity match, where the pace was fast, the tackles were hard, and the margin for error was razor-thin. Rugby is a sport where the body is constantly under stress, where collisions can happen at any moment, and where the difference between a clean tackle and a dangerous one can be measured in inches. On that day, Sititi was involved in a collision that left him unconscious on the ground for a brief moment, and the medical team rushed to his side to assess the damage. He was immediately taken off the field, and he was transported to the hospital for further evaluation. In the hours that followed, the news came: Sititi had been diagnosed with a concussion, and he was being kept in the hospital for observation to ensure that there were no further complications. What makes this injury so painful for rugby fans is not just the immediate impact on the team, but the long-term implications for Sititi's health and his career. Head injuries in rugby are one of the most serious concerns in the sport, and they can have lasting effects on a player's cognitive function, memory, and overall well-being. Sititi is a young player, still in the early stages of his career, and the thought of him facing long-term health issues is a blow that goes beyond the physical. It's emotional, it's mental, and it's a test of the kind of resilience that defines great athletes. He will have to go through the recovery process, the rehabilitation, and the long road back to the field, all while knowing that the team is counting on him to come back stronger than ever. That kind of pressure is not something that can be easily handled, and it's something that will test Sititi in ways that most fans will never see. For the All Blacks, this injury is a reminder of how fragile the sport can be, how quickly a player's fortunes can change, and how much one player can mean to the entire team. Sititi has been the engine of the All Blacks attack, the player who creates space for his teammates, and the leader who keeps the team focused when things get tough. Without him, the All Blacks will have to rely on role players to step up, on young talent to take on more responsibility, and on the coaching staff to find a way to keep the team competitive. It's a tall order for any team, let alone one that is counting on Sititi to be at his best when the next major tournament arrives. The injury is a reminder of how quickly the game can change, how quickly a team's fortunes can shift, and how much one player can mean to the entire franchise. For Sititi himself, This is a moment of frustration, of pain, and of uncertainty. He is a player who has worked tirelessly to get to this point, who has sacrificed his body year after year, and who has built a reputation as one of the most reliable and consistent players in the world. To have that work interrupted by a head injury, especially at such a critical stage in his career, is a blow that goes beyond the physical. It's emotional, it's mental, and it's a test of the kind of resilience that defines great athletes. He will have to go through the recovery process, the rehabilitation, and the long road back to the field, all while knowing that the team is counting on him to come back stronger than ever. That kind of pressure is not something that can be easily handled, and it's something that will test Sititi in ways that most fans will never see. The rugby community has been flooded with messages of support for Sititi, from fellow players, from fans, from coaches, and from people who have grown up watching him play and finding comfort in his style. Some have shared stories of the first time they saw him score a try. Others have talked about the way he made them feel when they were going through the hardest times of their lives. And still others have simply written that his energy was the soundtrack to their lives. Those stories are not just about rugby. They're about the way Wallace Sititi made people feel, the way he made them believe in themselves, and the way he made them feel less alone. For fans, Wallace Sititi's journey will live on in the tries that defined a generation, in the matches that still bring people to their feet, and in the quiet moments when they watch his highlights and feel like they're being watched by someone who truly understood the game. He was not just a player. He was a companion, a friend, and a source of comfort for millions of people around the world. He made rugby feel real, made competition feel important, and made the idea of sport feel possible. That's the kind of legacy that can't be taken away by injury, no matter how painful it may be. His story will continue to echo through the decades, through the matches, through the broadcasts, and through the hearts of everyone who ever believed in the work he did. If you've been following Wallace Sititi's journey, if you've been worried about his injury, or if you've been moved by the way he has fought through setbacks in the past, take a moment to acknowledge his effort and his resilience. Please like this video, and if you enjoy updates and stories about the injuries, comebacks, and struggles of the athletes we follow, consider subscribing to this channel. Together, we can keep watching, keep hoping, and keep supporting players like Wallace Sititi as they fight their way back, one match at a time.